No Indian startup story captures the dramatic rise and equally dramatic fall like Byju's. For a while, it seemed unstoppable. Sometimes from the lower middle class background, were convinced to buy costly courses ranging from 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees per year for the guaranteed academic success in future. In 2022, Byju's delayed filing financial statements by 18 months, raising eyebrows in the industry. And when the numbers finally surfaced, it was catastrophic. Customer complaints about the refund issues and unkept promises. Internally, morale tanked. Externally, customers and regulators lost faith. That Byju's failure doesn't mean that the online education system didn't work. It failed because nearly 90% of all the Indian startups fail within the first 5 years. 90%. Let that sink in. Billions of rupees, millions of dreams just evaporated. It makes you wonder, is the Indian startup dream broken or are we just getting started? Stay with me because today we are diving deep into the India startup story with all its chaos, brilliance, heartbreaks and hopes. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Akash, an entrepreneur and somebody who is obsessed with decoding the real India behind the headlines. Today's video is the one that I've been waiting for a long time to make. We are talking about the reality, the unfiltered truth of the Indian startup story. Why they rise, why they crash, and what it means for India's future. The Indian startup boom, how it all began. The story began in early 2000s, a time when words like startup were alien in India. You had Infosys, TCS, and Wipro, but they were big IT giants, not startups in Silicon Valley sense. Then came 2007. Two guys named Sachin and Binny Bansal started Flipkart from a 2-bedroom apartment in Bangalore. Flipkart's success lit a spark across the country. Suddenly, young Indians thought that they could also create global companies. After 2015, the boom really exploded. Smartphones became affordable, internet penetration skyrocketed thanks to Jio, and global investors, SoftBank, Tiger Global, Sequoia, pumped billions into India. The government too jumped on the bandwagon with initiatives like Startup India and Digital India, creating easy company registrations, tax breaks, and funding programs. The era of unicorns was born. Ola, Paytm, Zomato, Byju's, Oyo, all raising hundreds of millions and celebrated like cricket teams. It felt like India was creating its own Silicon Valley. But hidden beneath that glamour were deeper cracks. Now let's learn about this from an example. Byju's, the fall from an edtech giant to a cautionary tale. Perhaps no Indian startup story captures the dramatic rise and equally dramatic fall like Byju's. Once hailed as the poster child of Indian edtech, Byju's was evaluated at $20 billion at its peak. But by 2024 to 25, it had turned into a symbol of everything that can go wrong. It prioritized breakneck growth and aggressive marketing over building a sustainable business. The meteoric rise, founded in 2011 by Baiju Ravindran, a passionate teacher from Kerala, Byju started as an offline coaching classes. His charismatic teaching style, peppered with relatable examples and energy, attracted large crowds. Recognizing the potential of digital learning, Byju's launched its eponymous app in 2015. It was revolutionary, offering animated videos to learn, interactive quizzes, and gamified content to make learning fun. Parents, desperate to give their children competitive edge in exams like JEE, NEET, and CAT, enthusiastically adopted it. A venture capitalist poured millions of dollars into it as well, acquiring a slew of startups like Osmo, White Hat Junior, and Akash Educational Services. Sponsorships with the Indian cricket team, IPL, and even the FIFA World Cup gave Byju's unparalleled visibility. For a while, it seemed unstoppable. India's answer to the global edtech powerhouse. Where it started to crumble. Number 1. Aggressive and predatory sales practices. Behind the glossy ads and celebrity endorsements lay a ruthless sales machine. Employees were heavily incentivized to sell expensive subscriptions to parents, often using manipulative tactics. For families, sometimes from the lower middle class background, were convinced to buy costly courses ranging from 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees per year for the guaranteed academic success in future. Many were even pushed into taking education loans. Customer complaints about the refund issues and unkept promises soon flooded the social media and regulatory bodies. Public trust, critical to any educational brand, started to erode. Number 2. Acquisition addiction and operational chaos. Byju's bought companies at a frenetic pace. thinking bigger was better. But integrating these accusations was another story. Whitehead Jr. faced PR nightmares over exaggerated claims that your child will become a tech CEO. Its aggressive marketing backfired badly. Meanwhile, the 7,100 crore rupees acquisition of Akash Institute, an offline coaching giant, strained operations. Aligning Akash's conservative culture with Byju's high-pressure tech startup ethos proved to be a logistic nightmare. Instead of synergy, there was confusion, overlapping expenses, and declining returns. Number 3. Financial mismanagement and lack of transparency. In 2022, Byju's delayed filing financial statements by 18 months, raising eyebrows in the industry. And when the numbers finally surfaced, it was catastrophic. Revenue projections were grossly inflated, and losses topped over 4,500 crore rupees in just 1 year. Auditors raised red flags over how these revenues were recognized, indicating accounting irregularities. Investors, once dazzled with these growth numbers, started to back away, demanding answers and board oversight. Confidence, once Byju's greatest asset, shattered. Number 4. Layoffs, lawsuits, and leadership exodus. As funding dried up and expenses mounted, Byju started laying off thousands. Over 5,000 employees laid off from tech, content, and sales. Reports of abrupt firing, unpaid salaries, and toxic workplace culture surfaced. Simultaneously, US lenders sued Byju's Alpha, its American unit, for defaulting on a $1.2 billion loan. Multiple top executives resigned, leaving a leadership vacuum at a very critical time. Internally, morale tanked. Externally, customers and regulators lost faith. Number 5. The brutal shift in market reality. COVID-19's forced adoption of online learning temporarily boosted Byju's fortunes. But as schools reopened, the demand for online learning fell sharply. Meanwhile, the competitors like PhysicsWallah and Vedantu offered affordable and effective alternatives. And that's why parents no longer felt the need to spend exorbitant amounts. Byju's bloated cost structure, built for pandemic-level demands, became a crushing liability. The endgame. By early 2025, Byju's evaluation crashed from whopping $22 billion to merely $1 to $1.5 billion. Creditors lined up for dues, employees staged protests, and customers filed legal complaints. The company desperately tried to sell assets like Akash to stay afloat. What once was a shining unicorn was just a shadow of its own self, under the siege from all sides: regulators, investors, customers, and public. The bigger lesson over here is that Byju's failure doesn't mean that the online education system didn't work. It failed because Byju's lost sight of what education really means: transparency, trust, and delivering real value. Number 4. Lessons from failures. What can we learn? Each failed startup leaves behind precious lessons if you're willing to listen. First and foremost, solve a real problem. Stop following trends. It's tempting to build the Uber for X or a Netflix of Y, but unless and until you're trying to solve a real pain point with a deep understanding of your customer, it won't last. Second, focus on profitability early. Growth is sexy, but profit is survival. Startups must learn that the unit economics matters from day one. Third, culture can eat strategy for breakfast. Building a strong, ethical, transparent company culture is crucial. Toxicity kills more startups than competition ever does. And the fourth, the resilience matters more than the hype. And finally, raise smart, not fast. Funding is not the goal. Building something valuable is. Founders and investors both need to shift from evaluation first mindset to value creation first mindset. Bright spots. The successful Indian startups. Amidst all the wreckage, some Indian startups have just not survived, they have thrived. Zerodha, India's largest stockbroker, is bootstrapped, profitable, and customer obsessed. Zoho, built in Chennai, serves millions of businesses globally without raising a single rupee from VC funding. What did they all do differently? They focused on sustainability over vanity. They built real products for paying customers. They expanded carefully, not recklessly. They prioritized employee happiness and customers' trust over PR hype. These stories show that it is totally possible to build world-class companies in India. It just requires a different mindset. Conclusion. To wrap it up, India's startup story is still being written up. Yes, we have seen some dramatic failures. Yes, we have made some painful mistakes. But that's the nature of any young, evolving ecosystem. Failure isn't the end. It's the fertilizer for the future success. We need smarter founders, patient capital, and a culture that celebrates real problem-solving techniques over temporary hype. If we get that right, India won't just be producing unicorns. It would be producing enduring legends. If you found value in this video, drop a comment to share your thoughts. Agree, disagree, whatever's on your mind.